I like the Straw Hats. They're cool. But who do I like the most? Who do I like the least? Do you even care about my opinions? I don't know. Guess I'll just have to watch the entire thing to find out. You know, I'm trying to think I should just skip intros. Anyways, disclaimer time. This is purely my opinion. I understand the internet isn't the best with opinions, so I think we should review what an opinion is. For example, you can like Chopper. That is an opinion. You can dislike Chopper. That is being stupid. But for real, everything I say in this video is just my opinion, and if you disagree with me, that's completely wrong. At number 10, we have Brooke. Before we continue though, I just want to say I don't hate any of these characters, and being my least favorite Straw Hat probably means you're still one of my favorite characters in all of anime. Okay, back to Brooke. I don't dislike Brooke. I mean, Brooke has had some of the most badass moments, and his sense of humor is very in line with mine. In other words, we're both stupid. But for real, Brooke has had some of the greatest showings in all of anime. His fight against Big Mom was so hype, and at any time this dude pulls out his sword, I get super excited. Also, Brooke's backstory is one of the saddest backstories in all of anime. Watching him suffer for 50 years really brought a tear to my eye, and the part where all of them are singing Binks Sake while dying is one of the few moments that always makes me cry. Speaking of things that make me cry though, let's talk about his panty jokes. This is the primary reason he's this low. He's like Sanji, but with the horniness turned up to 500 and the skin turned on to negative 200. To be honest, I think the entire panty joke thing is just not my style of humor, which is why I don't like him as much as the other Straw Hats. Don't get me wrong, I still love Brooke and his own jokes, and his contributions to the crew are undeniable. It's just, the panty joke is a little bit overused. Coming in at number 9 though, we have Frankie. Frankie, to me at least, feels like the goofball big brother of the crew. He's always been there for the crew, and I love his creativity and his goofiness in general. Honestly, Frankie was a great addition to the crew, and I think he meshes really well with the other members. I especially love his cola gimmick, and his backstory genuinely made me super sad. However, to me, there's always been a weird feeling about Frankie. I just can't explain it, but I've never really felt a super strong attraction to him. I think the thing he did that appealed to me most was the Mini Mary ship, because it was so goddamn cute. Other than that though, I also loved his nonchalant attack on Big Mom, and him always saving the crew just further adds to his big brother vibe. Don't get me wrong, I love Frankie. For the most part, that hair needs to be changed back, top 10 anime nerfs. Regardless, I love Frankie, but I've just never felt the connection I feel with other characters on this list. God, I sound like I'm in a parasocial relationship right now. Regardless of my questionable life choices, I do think Frankie's importance in the crew is underrated. His shipbuilding and weapon building abilities are second to none, and without him, the crew probably couldn't operate as well as they can. Moving on though, I think this is where the first real angering thing of this video comes in, but at number 7 we have Pinocchio 2.0. I feel like this is where the subjectiveness really comes into play. Usopp is actually a pretty good written character. While many people call him weak or a crybaby, he is a very humane depiction of a character in the crazy world that is One Piece's world. Usopp's reactions are the same reactions any sane normal human would have if they got plopped into the Grand Line. His backstory also adds more depth to this character, and I do think that his lying thing, though annoying, does make sense considering his backstory. However, I don't like him for one simple reason. God Usopp is just too strong. The man is the definition of the word strong, and it's just unfair for everyone else because he's too powerful. But for real, Usopp is a great character, but I just don't enjoy him too much when compared with other characters on this list. A lot of the time, he's just crying, which, again, is good writing, but I just don't enjoy it. Listen, I'm still hype as fuck for when Usopp becomes a brave warrior of the sea officially in Elbaf, and for him to meet his dad. And I love seeing him grow throughout the show, but I just don't like the fact that this man is so relatable. Like, I watch One Piece to escape from the real world, not to be staring at a mirror reflection of myself. While Pinocchio's a bit low on this list, I do think he deserves a spot on the crew though. I know some people think he's absolute dog shit and doesn't deserve to be on the crew, but he has earned his spot. From having some of the most heartbreaking moments in the entire show to some of the funniest, Usopp does deserve to be on the crew. Then again, he also deserved to have a dad in his life, and well, we saw how that turned out, so maybe he doesn't, I don't know. Alright, now we're gonna move on to number 7. This is when I should really stress this is purely my opinion. Please don't kill me, I have a family. Coming in at number 7, we have Vinsmoke Sanji. Alright, stop, I get it, I committed a sin, I'm sorry. Sanji throughout the first few arcs of One Piece was a peak character. His simp behavior was still funny and his kindness was extremely apparent. During the beginning arc, Sanji was definitely one of my favorite characters in the entire show. And then we hit the time skip. Sanji went from normal levels of simp to me simping for Zoro Teddy's level of simp. That is a sentence I never thought I'd say. Anyways, Sanji's perviness made me dislike him a lot more than before. While I always found it a tad bit annoying, I didn't find it annoying to the point where it ruined his character, but for a bit, it definitely felt like his only purpose was to be horny. I mean, at one point his nosebleed actively caused harm to not only himself, but to the crew, which was... Okay, listen, it was annoying, but also impressive, because how horny do you have to be to get it that high? How high did his blood even shoot up? Like, can we get much higher? While Sanji's character did seem ruined after the time skip, to me at least, all of that changed in Whole Cake Island. Whole Cake Island redeemed Sanji and gave him like 30 extra layers of complexness. Isn't complexity the skin tone thing? Gave him 30 extra layers of more complex. His backstory with his family to him breaking down in tears, all of it made his character so much more appealing to me. Watching him break down actively made me like him more. That made me sound like such a horrible person. What I'm trying to say is Sanji's recent character development with the Germa suits and other factors make me like him more. While his perviness is still annoying, it's nice knowing that he can be serious when he wants to, and the fact that Oda can make even this dude make us cry is, well, it's impressive as shit. Sanji in recent arcs definitely has improved a lot to me, and I do love how kind and caring he is. Also, his cooking looks really good, and I think that makes me like him even more, because I definitely want to eat his food. Amongst other things. What? Why are you looking at me like that? Moving on from Sanji, let's talk about the big teddy bear, Jinbei. Yes, I get he's like a fish, but he like reminds me of a teddy bear because he's big and Jinbei is often placed super low on the Straw Hat ranking, probably because he's the newest addition to the crew, and we really haven't spent much time with him. He's also the only character who joined the crew post time skip, so, well, you know, people aren't really that close with him yet, but Jinbei is my homie. It definitely sounds like I'm in a parasocial relationship with a bunch of pixels. Jinbei has constantly been there for Luffy, and that's the reason I love him so much. He saved the crew so many times, and it feels like anytime we need him, he's there. I mean, he's literally the only reason Luffy's still alive today. Actually, he's probably the only reason any of the crew are alive today. He saved them a shit ton of times, and I do think he also has one of the most badass moments in the entire show. Watching him not even sweat in front of Big Mom and declaring that she's just a Yonko, God, he's so badass. And to Sanji fans who are mad at me for putting him in front of Sanji, just remember, so did Oda. Alright, that was a joke. I'm sorry. The real reason, though, that Jinbei is this high is simple. He seems like he could give a good hug. I like that. Moving on from someone who'd give you a hug because they love you, let's talk about someone who'd hug you purely to steal your wallet. That was so bad. Nami, I'm talking about Nami. Nami's definitely one of my favorite characters in the entire show, and she does have what I like to call the moment I fell in love with One Piece. Everything about her character is so good, and the way Oda has set up her character is top-tier writing. Her backstory genuinely brought me to tears, and I especially love how she makes it her mission to protect children because she knows how much it hurts being a kid and having no one there for you. Also, I love how she fights. She uses what she knows really well, the weather, to fight opponents who would otherwise be much stronger than her. But also, let's talk about what she knows best, navigation. I don't remember who said it, but a quote that always stuck with me is, "The Straw Hats have two captains, Luffy on land and Nami at sea." Nami's importance to the crew is undeniable. I mean, she's the only reason they can even survive out in the rough conditions of the Grand Line. Without Nami, the crew would have died a long time ago, so I do think people who say she's just pretty are kind of stupid as shit. Respectfully. With love. Oh yeah, and also let's not forget that she's the only character ever to have beaten a Yonko without even a fight, so canonically, she's the second strongest Straw Hat other than Usopp. Next up on this list, we have none other than Nico Robin. Just like Nami, Robin is one of the most important crew members to Luffy's journey. Her ability to read poneglyphs is literally one of the most wanted abilities in the entire world of One Piece, along with the ability to have a chest like Zoro's. God damn, that's beautiful. Why do you keep staring at me? But for real, Robin's ability to read poneglyphs is by far one of the most powerful powers in the entire show, and her importance to the crew is undeniable. Other than that though, Robin does have something very special to me. Her arc, Enies Lobby, is the only reason I fell in love with One Piece as much as I did. I get the entire watch 400 episodes of a show to like it is a meme, but it actually did work for me. Seeing her declare that she wants to live was such a beautiful scene, and still without fail makes me cry. Her backstory was so important to the show as well because it showed us how dark the world can be and also showed us one of the greatest mysteries, the Ancient Kingdom. I mean, the fact that her backstory is still a major plot point today just shows how important it was. Another thing I like about Robin is that she fights as well. Seeing her go crazy on Black Maria was one of my favorite moments in all of Wano, and I do think it's so cool to see how she doesn't let anyone mess with her friends. She's actually one of my favorite characters in the entire show, and honestly, I just love everything about her character. Moving on from Robin though, let's talk about Robin's son, Chopper. Chopper's cute, that's it, next. Nah, I'm joking. Chopper, while also the most adorable little baby boy, is also essential to the crew's survival. Because he's their survival food. No, I'm joking. But he's essential because he's their doctor. Other than just saving the crew's lives, though, Chopper also does fight, albeit very rarely, but... Okay, you know what? I'm just gonna stop lying to you. I like him because he's cute, okay? What's wrong with that, alright? There's nothing wrong with liking the Chop because he's cute, alright? He's also a professional singer. What's wrong with that? I'm just gonna move on. Moving on to number 2. I think this is where the subjectiveness really comes into play, but it's Luffy. I think we all understand that Luffy's important to the crew because, well... he's the main character. But Luffy also has another thing going for him in that he's really emotionally intelligent. Seeing how he's helped every crew member with some form of trauma and has time and time again been there for the crew is really heartwarming. And also, Luffy's just funny. The moments in One Piece that have me laughing the hardest are always because of Luffy. He's one of the funniest characters in all of anime, even though the show isn't mainly focused on comedy. Listen, we all know Luffy's super likable for a shit ton of reasons, but let me tell you about why I actually like him. His song on Skypiea. Actually my favorite song ever. If this video gets 1,000 views, I will sing it. And finally, at number 1, we have the one, the only, Yamato. Oh, just kidding, he didn't join the crew, my bad. Just wanted to remind you, Yamato fans, that he didn't join the crew. Remember the time he didn't join the crew? Okay, I'm sorry, please don't kill me. I'm sorry. I love it. But for real, Zoro. I mean, if you watched any of my other videos, you know I have a crippling addiction with this man's chest. But other than that, he's pretty great. He's a pillar to the crew, and he does have some of the most badass moments in the entire show. Without him, the crew would have collapsed a long time ago, and I think it's important to note just how much the crew needs him for them to function as they do. While many people say he just fights, he also makes sure the crew respects Luffy. And honestly, his bond with Luffy is so sweet. Just like the thought of him absolutely destroying. I don't think I need to explain why I like him so much. He's one of the most liked characters in the entire show, and I think everyone knows about his loyalty and how brave he is. And to sum it all up, he's the only character I still like, even though he's racist. But that's my ranking. Once again, I feel the need to say that, well, you know, these are my opinions. Don't, like, try to murder me because of them. Or do, I don't know, maybe you're into that. But for real, it's fine to have different opinions than me, and you should take pride in whoever you like, regardless of why you like them. Unless you like Foxy, in which case you're just stupid. But for real, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, because it was different than what I normally do. Actually, I don't know why I wrote this video. I think I was just bored in class. But that's it for me. Thank you.